Hi students, today I welcome you to this class of classical sociology and we are going to learn about Herbert Spencer's idea of organic analogy. My presentation today should help you learn about what this concept means and how it was applied by Spencer in the understanding of society. So let's look very quickly what my presentation consists of. I introduce you to this concept, the logic behind of using this concept by Spencer. I will talk to you about some important similarities, or you would say analogy, that Spencer talks about in the context of the organic analogy that he makes, an analogy, a comparison between society and an organism, the differences between this and the criticism which Spencer had to face, and then we conclude and I will leave you with some references. So let's have a look at this. As you see here, the organic analogy is the identification of society with a biological organism. Spencer was highly influenced by biological sciences, the progress that they had made, and he was convinced by the biological concept of evolution. And he applied this concept of evolution to society as well. And in a way, by applying this concept of evolution to society, in which you see evolution means that a movement from something that is incoherent, unknown, to something that becomes coherent and known, from simple to something that becomes complex. And he applied this and he said that society was organized in the same way, just like an organism. So he's comparing a society with an organism, and he saw that there were so many peculiarities or similarities between these two, between an organism, that is any type of an organism, say a human being, you can compare that with society, and you can see like how both underwent transformation through the stages of growth, maturity and decay. And therefore he found some analogy in these different interdependent parts that were there both in an organism and a society. So let's look at what is this organic analogy. It's an analogy, it's a comparison between society and an organism. So going further, we find that when he draws this analogy between the society and an organism, he says that both society and an organism shows visible sign of growth, like a baby becomes a man and a small community becomes a metropolitan area. For example, we would see Fatorda, which is in the locality here, has transformed from a village to becoming into a small town or a city today, almost merged with Margaon, and it has undergone transformation. Therefore, the point here why this transformation happens, and you could apply to this example of Fatorda, is because increase in size leads to increase in the complexity of structure. So increase in the number of people in Fatorda contributed to the increase in the complexity of the place, and you see from a very agricultural centered area, it has become into a tertiary sector area, wherein you have different types of offices and various type of things that go on when you talk about employment, as well as people living and residing in this place. And you have specializations, or you have different type of employment avenues that opened up, whether it's to shops, to malls, to different things. So increase in size leads to increase in complexity of structure, which you can see also in terms of a microorganism and a very complex organism like a human being. As structure is differentiated, there is differentiation of function. So you see the structure that is made, this body that we have, you have every different part in this body, which we call it as the organs of the body, playing different role, playing different function. And same way he says there are parts of society like marriage, religion, you have economy, you have education, you have language, you have different things like these that play a role, and they contribute to the functioning of the body. The functioning of the body would mean society, and in terms of an organism would mean a body. So every part contributes to the smooth functioning of the body. Going further, we see that life is longer than its units. That is, the cells of the body die, but the body as a whole continue to live. So the same applies also to societies. You will see individuals die, but societies continue to live on. So individuals are like the cells of the body, and body means like the body which we have here. We have like certain cells which die, but still body continues to live on. So these are some similarities that you find between these two, that is the society and an organism. Nevertheless, Spencer did speak of the differences, and you will see the differences here are: in organism, the parts are fixed, forming a concrete whole. So in an organism, you will find that all these parts of the body are linked together to the whole. But in society, the parts are dispersed and free. All parts are not attached directly to the whole. Next, you will see the consciousness is centered around the aggregate, such as the brain. So in an organism, you will find like there is a central locus system, that is the brain, that somehow combines everything together into one, and it controls everything. But in society, you find everything diffused through the individual members. Next is parts exist for the benefit of the whole. So you'll see in an organism, the parts of the body are there for the benefit of the whole together. But in the society, the whole exists for the benefit of the individual. So whole society is there, which is beneficial for the individuals. Nevertheless, we see that this type of an analogy by Spencer, he had to face certain criticisms. And although the orientation of organic analogy was long before Spencer, Spencer was first to give it a scientific value. But present day sociologists feel that society is a system as well as an organism. System means everything that may be conceived as a whole, consisting of interdependent parts. Since both are systems, the analogy is valid, but at the same point of time, it is improper to transfer the biological function into sociology. So this is the greater criticism that is coming through, that you can't transfer the different functions that maybe Spencer speaks of the body to that of society directly. And this is the major criticism that he had to face. Let's conclude today. So Spencer's comparison of society with organism is what is referred to as organic analogy. And we find that there are several similarities and differences that can be seen when we are comparing these two. And definitely, although these certain comparisons are valid, there are certain criticisms to this as well. Further, I leave up to you to refer to these. You can refer to George Ritz's book, which I put up on Google Classroom. And you can also read through C.N. Shankara Rao's book on Principles of Sociology. Both of these will cover this particular topic, and I'm sure once you read, you will understand this even much better. Thank you.